as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day.
It is such a pleasure to welcome Joe back on the program. A big thank you again to my Anita, my production assistant, who helps me get these fabulous people on the program, because it does take a lot of time. But I'm sure with Joe, it's not like the consulates and the embassies, and that you are more eager to come in and share your fabulous litter picking project, which I just applaud so immensely. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Good to be here again.
You're looking really well. When
Thank
we
you.
first met, you'd literally just come over, you're getting settled with your daughter. So before we start talking about picking up litter, which is a subject that I very much support, how's it going? How are you settling in? Christmas is coming.
Really well. First Christmas in Spain. We normally head back to the UK every year, and so really excited to be here. It's a lot warmer than it is in the UK, so we're thankful for that. And yeah, it's really Christmassy. There's lights up on all the roundabouts and the roads. So
Have you been down to Marbella or San Pedro to actually see the Christmas lights?
we have, and we went to Malaga too to have a look at the lights, and it was fantastic. They do a display every night with music and things, so really, really
Good
nice.
boy, so
Very
you're really
Christmassy.
getting in the spirit of
Yeah,
things.
100%.
And are you speaking Spanish?
Sí, mucho.
Muy bien. I'm sure your daughter's picking it up really quickly.
She's my teacher, yeah, exactly.
Well, it helps actually. I also learn quite a lot of my Spanish through children. The tone of voice, I think it's that high pitch tone of voice that really is that just makes it a little bit easier. Speak to the kids.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
One of the things kids can get involved with, and I think we can all get involved with, is this litter picking project. We spoke about it before. You organise different get-togethers. I have lots of questions. Before I pose them to you, for those who haven't met you before, Joe, give us a rundown of what the project is, how it started.
Litter pickers. So it sounds grimy, but it was an initiative actually started by an old man just walking around picking up litter in London. I used to see him on my commute to work, driving my car, and hunched over with his grab stick, picking things up in his bag. And so I thought, I've got to stop and speak to this guy one day. And I did. And he needed a hand. There were areas he couldn't reach, and he was just doing his good community deed by picking up trash that people throw out. So me and my daughter got involved and started helping. And when we moved here, we decided, hey, there's some trash lying around, some really beautiful places, Turtle Lake being one of them that we just cleaned. And so we thought, let's start a group, litter pickers. We can walk, talk, and pick up the trash.
I love that idea. And Turtle Lake is somewhere where I used to hang out and used to go and swim until one day these huge bubbles came from somewhere, and it's like, what on earth could have made that? And I got out as quickly as I could.
Okay.
Even if it was a turtle, I was like, oh my God. But it's a super place, and it's lovely that as people go places and do leave litter, there are people walking behind or making that mission like you are to do something.
Definitely. I mean, I think a lot of the litter comes from, you know, sometimes people are putting the rubbish in the bins, they get full up and the wind blows them out of the bins. Sadly, some people go fishing down there or have picnics and maybe leave trash behind, or as it gets blown away, don't pick it up. Trouble is, this stuff makes its way into the water. You know, it does affect the wildlife. There are turtles, there are fish, there are birds, insects, and, you know, we have to look after the beauty of the wildlife around us, really.
One of the things that actually instigated me, Marbella Radio, Marbella Now TV, was the concept of, if we live in Marbella, and particularly us foreigners, if we live here, one of the simple things we could do, particularly if we're not on the town padron, on the register, which you should, because that brings money from the central government to help pay for the cleaning facilities of our city. So if you're particularly not on the padron, the least you can do is helping keeping our city clean. In the summer, there's an extra 1 million people adding to our 140, 150,000 people community on a, you know, just on a normal day. But one of the things for me, Joe, I found is I'm the first one to preach this. However, I found that I'm walking around and I see something in the street, but I don't really have anything to pick it up with. And although I'm prepared, for example, with my doggy bag, it's like, it's just not the moment, and I hate walking by it. So how do we approach litter picking when you're not actually on a picking expedition?
Well, I think it's really just, you know, sometimes you do have to ignore it. I'm not going to lie. I walk past trash sometimes, and I'm not in a position like you. I'm not in a position to pick it up. You know, it's dirty. I'm on my way out. But if I am on the way home, I know where my local bins are. I might pick something up from my dog walk, take it home with me, and just drop it in the bin on the way, knowing that I'm not going to touch anything or touch my face until I've washed my hands when I get home. So, you know, there are times when we do have to leave it, but what I do is just make a conscious effort to let people see us doing that. And, you know, and hopefully it catches on and there's an awareness, because prevention's better than cure. So that's the idea.
Yeah,
really,
I mean, as you
raise
say, at
awareness
least we're aware, because, as I say, particularly having used this as such a starting point for, you know, the program and the concept, to then not be able to follow up myself. It's like, makes you feel really guilty. But then I was thinking, well, maybe I could use a doggy bag. And that's another thing, even myself, I do not like it when I go out with a dog in the street. And even though you have doggy bags, that you can't then necessarily always clear it up. And then with the peas as well, I don't like that. I believe in Estepona, they've started doing that you need to go with a little bottle with water and vinegar.
Oh, wow.
And when your dog pees, go after them and do a little spraying, which sounds like really cumbersome, and please don't make me take extra stuff with me. But at the same time, I do appreciate and really like, do you know, like, what I mean, the concept.
I think the thing is, that's all biodegradable, it's all organic, you know, dog's mess. But the biggest problem we face at the minute is single-use plastics, you know. Let's try and reduce the amount of plastic bottles we're using and switch to a glass bottle or a reusable bottle. Let's try and reduce the amount of carrier bags we need and stop the trash going onto the streets, the plastic and the waste. You know, that's a really more important cause and something that we should action, and hopefully try and spread the litter picker word out across the coast and have people doing this in their own communities, starting their own groups. You know?
It sounds like a plan. If people would like to get involved with litter pickers and join you, how do they do that? How do they keep a track of where you're going and what you're doing?
Well, lots of people here are on Facebook, so you can go and search us on Facebook, Litter Pickers Marbella, it's plural. There's an application called Meetup, which is fantastic. Again, you can search Litter Pickers. You'll find us there, we'll post events, and do tell us if you see a place that it needs a clean, that's really dirty and there's lots of trash. Give us a call, Facebook message the page, and we'll organise a group and come and clean it up with you.
It sounds like a plan. Congratulations, my man.
Thanks,
you are a
Alex.
star.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you. Very happy that James is with us again, and we're going to talk about art, culture. James, welcome back to Marbella Now.
Thank you very much indeed.
I
Delightful
believe,
to be here.
Oh, it is a delight to have you here. I believe you've been to the Timeless Gallery recently.
I was invited there last week to a sort of private showing. I'd not been to the gallery before, and it's quite interesting because it's something entirely different from the sort of art that I know, because most of what my training was 17th, 18th and 19th century, but Timeless obviously is a bit more modern than that, and mostly sculpture. But there were a couple of quite outstanding sculptors there that I really did enjoy seeing their work, and it's a most beautiful space as well. It's grand, high ceilings, and what's happened there?
Don't worry.
Oh. High ceilings, well lit, and there's one Englishman that was showing there, a man called Philip Jackson, and his sculptures are quite extraordinary. They're almost threatening. There's a small maquette of three people, and they're wearing these sort of rather Spanish type hats, and you can't see any faces, but there's a strength there between those three people which is quite extraordinary. And if anybody is interested in modern sculpture, there's also a very good sculptor whose name I've lost at the moment. I'll think about it. It gets old, you know. And he does monumental sort of sculptures. He's American, and he's now doing a big project in Alaska for a cathedral there. He's doing the stained glass, he's doing the crucifixion and all the things of the cross, and his work is Roberto Santo. That's it, got it finally. And his work is well worth looking at. And I hadn't seen it before, but I was very, very struck with it.
What kind of person buys sculptures for their home? I mean, you obviously
Rich
have to
ones, I
have the
think.
space. Yes, you obviously have to have a lot of space.
You certainly
so you
need-
have to start off with money to have that space.
You certainly need space.
To put a sculpture in.
Yes.
What points do you look for? I'm obviously the one that you say that you get a sinister look for it, but what do people look for nowadays in modern art?
Oh, Lordy, what a terrible question.
I'm a terrible person
almost,
sometimes.
I don't know, to throw one at me like that with no warning, what do they look for? I'm not sure. I suppose it's a gut reaction because, you know, if you're looking at a purely blank canvas which is just blue, says something to some people and doesn't say much to somebody else.
So it really is completely different from anything that you're used to, but at the same time, it is, as you say, it's that appreciation of the art. If it reaches you, if it says something to you.
Exactly. And, you know, one has to learn. And without looking, you won't learn. And so that was one of the things that made this interesting, was modern sculpture. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was well worth seeing. And, of course, here we've also got the Raleigh Museum very close, which has a fascinating collection of small Dali small sculptures, which of course, if you see those, then you go down to, what's the big avenue in Marbella?
Ricardo Soriano, the main street.
The one that runs down to it's got all the Dali sculptures in the middle.
Oh, the Avenida del Mar.
Exactly.
Avenida del Mar, where we've got our Dali statues.
And whoever it was on the council in, what was it, 1963, I think they were bought, who bought those and put them up there, I think was very enlightened. I mean, they are fascinating to watch. So if you go to the Raleigh and you see the small sculptures, and then you go and have a look at the big ones.
The Raleigh itself is actually deceptively big, because
Yes.
when you look at it from the outside, which is what, isn't it, where the coral beach is there?
It's exactly there on the right-hand side.
On the right-hand side. It looks very tiny, but it's actually not. It's quite an impressive space and certainly worth visiting. Maybe that's what we can get you to do. Go around visiting all our little galleries and giving us feedback on them.
Well, I'd be delighted to do that.
Because they're always inviting us. It's just getting everywhere and then know what you're looking at when you get there. You know, because
Does help.
it does make a big difference. And this is the guy who knows. James, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's a great honour that Linear Director have confirmed that they will be sponsoring Marbella Now for 2018 and also our United Nationalities of Marbella Summit. Marbella Now is a great way for you to showcase your product. Obviously, you're all very welcome to come on the programme, but if you would like to have an advert on every single day, twice a day, and be part of our networking hub on air and off air, you should contact us, because we've got great offers to come and visit you and cover your party and include it in the programme, or to make you one of the sponsors of the programme for much less than you'd think, with amazing results. Contact us, marbellanowtv.com. Antes de despedirme hoy, me gustaría dar las gracias a las personas que me dicen que ni siquiera hablan inglés, pero les gusta ver nuestro programa. Así que muchísimas gracias. Es un agrado enorme y, bueno, una honra, ¿qué puedo decir? That's it for this evening. Thank you for joining us for another Marbella Now. We'll be back tomorrow, but before we're on the TV at 8 p.m, we'll also be on the radio. Me Marbella on 107.6 FM is Nicole King's Me Marbella, where we also meet really interesting people, listen to great music and keep you updated with everything that's going on. As you can hear, a lot of atmosphere here in our space. Come down and check it out too. Take care for now. Be nice to each other. Bye-bye.